So hi everyone, my name is Bea and I'm a Master's Architecture grad student from the College of Built Environment, and this is my thesis research on augmented light and exploration of lighting and window technology. I'd like to give a special thank you to my thesis chair Rob Corser and my thesis committee member Karen Wang for helping me put together this presentation. So the birth of this research really started from looking at this paradigm of day versus night. So in architecture, if you're inhabiting a building in the daytime, daylight is your primary lighting source, which is experienced through the architectural device of the window. And then at night, the window goes black and you turn on some sort of artificial lighting. So here's a brief look at the development of lighting technology, all the way from fire to the modern day white LED lights. So then I sort of just spent some time looking at the modern world. This is an image of Times Square and sort of seeing this stark contrast of artificial light versus the natural light. So all of these screens hung up on buildings to the backdrop of that blue sky. And in architecture, there's this theory called liminality. And basically that means the space between two completely disparate things is sort of the space for possibility and transition. And in nature, there's a lot of this. In the natural world, there's sort of these thresholds between day and night, sky and water, earth and sky. And really light acts as sort of a shaper of these moments of transition. In the architectural world, the use of lighting to create thresholds is sort of explored a bit through art and art installations. But still, there's sort of this missing piece of what happens when natural light meets the artificial. And so I sort of gathered these images and looking at just cities where the natural light is sharing a moment with the artificial light and sharing a color palette. In terms of potential research applications, it turns out the light that we experience outside is actually quite richer, both spectrally and in terms of power, than our interior lighting. Light we're experiencing indoors is much less powerful. So as a case study, here's a look at a very basic interior lighting condition. We have this beautiful bay window and a completely detached fluorescent light bulb that isn't really adding much. I'm sure we've all sort of had these moments in interior spaces where the rich outdoor lighting and the interior lighting are sort of at odds with one another. So I sort of saw an opportunity to shift that paradigm and sort of blur the lines between the two and use the window as sort of this threshold to merge these two disparate worlds. So let's transform this condition. So instead, this is a rendered image, and we see natural light coming in through that bay window, and then the artificial light actually augmenting the natural light as a means of enhancing that interior lighting condition. And here's that same window at night, where that artificial light begins to add richness to the image that we're seeing on the other side of that window, while simultaneously sort of letting in this different quality of night light. In terms of methodology, light as a material has very unique properties that allow it to be manipulated. These are just a few images of light being manipulated with lenses and prisms and glass. And then materials, of course, offer even more opportunities for transforming light. In terms of the thesis experimentation, I anticipate sort of doing a very controlled darkroom experiment where there's a singular source of natural light being augmented by artificial light coming in through a glass. And then perhaps there are different settings and different modes of augmentation. That's it. I went under my time, 1 minute 30, so sorry if that was